Good morning, student. As you know that we are in the chapter that is heredity and evolution. In this chapter, from my previous class, you already know about the meaning of the heredity. That is point number one, my dear student. Point number two, you know the meaning of the evolution. After that, you know about the trait. What is the meaning of the trait? That is the point number three. And you also known as the type of the trait, acquired and the inherited trait. That is point number 4. And after that you know about the Mendel, pea plant, Pisum sativum, and the 7 pair of contrasting character of this pea plant. That is point number 5. Now my dear student, here we are discussing about the monohybrid cross. This is our today agenda. Means we have to discuss about the monohybrid cross. So what is the meaning of this monohybrid cross? When pair one pair of contrasting character, when one pair of the contrasting character or the trait is taken for doing the experiment. Here in the case of the pea plant, as you know that there are 7 contrasting character. Out of this you are taking the height of the plant, height of the pea plant, and this height, this contrasting character, two pair, one is the tall and the second one is the dwarf. This pea plant may be tall, this pea plant may be dwarf. So this is one pair of contrasting character. When the experiment is done by taking one pair of contrasting character, then it is known as monohybrid cross. Clear? Now my dear student, here what you are doing, suppose you are taking the one capital T and capital T and then cross this with small t, small t. Means one is the tall plant and the second one, my dear student, is the dwarf plant. First one is the tall plant, second one is the dwarf plant. And this one is the parental generation, P generation, parental generation. Now my dear student, this tall plant means capital T and capital T. Two capital T are there, and in the second condition, in the case of the dwarf also, two small t are there. So these two are the gene. Means in a pea plant, two genes are present. This is one gene, one capital T and second capital D. Both combined together, and then there will be the two gene in the case of the pea plant. So this capital T and capital T is known as gene, or it is known as allele. It is known as gene or it is known as allele. So here in the case of the tall plant, the first T is obtained from one parent and the second T, second gene, is obtained from the another parent, and both came together and it is known as gene or allele. Now in the case of the dwarf plant also, small t and small t. One small t from one parent, another small t from another parent. So this is also known as allele or gene. Now my dear student, this capital T and capital T and small t are crossed. Then what will happen? First this T and this T. So you obtain capital T, small t. Then again this first one and this second one cross. Then capital T, small t. After that this second one and this first one. Then capital T, small t. After that this second one and this second one. Then you are getting capital T and small t. These all are the progeny or offspring of the F1 generation. That is the first filial generation. So I am writing this. This one is the F1 generation. Progeny. These all are the progeny. Now my dear student, before we are moving forward to the F2 generation, you have to understand the meaning of the homozygous and heterozygous. Here I am writing the thing. Number one, my dear student, that is homozygous. What is homozygous? Homozygous means, my dear student, when both the allele are of same type, when both the gene are of same type. I am writing this thing here. Both allele same type, then it is known as homozygous. For an example, capital T, capital T. This is the tall character, and the second one is the small t and small t, dwarf character. So here both allele, both gene or allele, capital T and capital T, small t and small t, both are of same type, then it is known as the homozygous, my dear student. Now the second condition is the heterozygous. That is the point number 2. This is the point number 1, and then the point number 2. Heterozygous. Heterozygous, both allele or gene different type. Heterozygous means, my dear student, both allele or gene are of different type. For an example, here one is the capital T and the second one is the small t. So both the gene, capital T one is and small t another is. So both are different. So this one is the heterozygous condition. So here in the F1 generation, one is capital T and other is small t, means all, my dear student, all are the heterozygous. All are the heterozygous in the case of the F1 generation, my dear student. Understand? Now the next thing, that is the point number 3, my dear student. Here I am writing about the point number 3, that is dominant gene. Dominant genes means which? What is the meaning of the dominant gene? So dominant gene means gene which can express themselves in heterozygous condition. So I am writing that thing here. Gene express in heterozygous condition. Then that type of gene is known as a dominant gene. Here you are seeing that two type of gene is there. One is capital T and another is small t. So T is for tallness and the small t is for the first T is for the tall character and the small t is for the short or the dwarf character. So these are the two type of gene. Out of this, in the case of the heterozygous condition, only tall character. Only tall character express themselves. So tall character is known as dominant gene. I am writing this thing here. This tall character is dominant. Because in the case of the heterozygous condition, you are observing here, my dear student, capital T small t, capital T small t. So all of the heterozygous, but tall character capital T is for the tallness, so it will express themselves in the F1 generation. So all the pea plant will be the tall here in the F1 generation. That is the heterozygous tall. Clear? Now the second thing, my dear student, that is the point number 4, that is the recessive gene. Recessive gene, when in the case of the heterozygous condition, gene cannot express themselves, that is known as the recessive gene. For an example, so that gene is known as the recessive gene. For an example, my dear student, here you can see this T the short. So this gene cannot express themselves in the F1 generation. So it is known as the recessive. Now you completed, you know about the homozygous, heterozygous, recessive, dominant gene. Hope you understand this concept. Now my dear student, F1 generation means we are taking the offspring of the F1 generation and we are doing the self pollination. Self pollination. What do you mean by the self pollination? Here you are observing that the all the means, suppose this is one parent that we are taking from the F1 generation. This is the another parent which we are taking from the F1 generation. All are of same type. We are crossing between the same type of parent. Then it is known as self pollination. But my dear student, again see here. Here we are doing the cross between the different type of parent. One is completely tall, one is completely dwarf. So it is cross pollination. But we are crossing between the same type of parent which we are taking from the F1 generation. So this is known as self pollination, my dear student. Now see the things here. Again this T and this T cross, then capital T and capital T. This T, my dear student, and this T will be crossed, then capital T, small t will be observed. Now my dear student, I am taking the second side. This is the small t and I am taking the first side. Then this will give that T and T, my dear student. After that, I am taking the second and the second of this also. Then T and T. So these are the progeny of F2 generation. F2 generation. Now my dear student, here you have to calculate two things. One is known as the phenotypic ratio and the second one is known as the genotypic ratio. So I am writing here phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic means what, my dear student? That trait which can easily observe, that type of trait or character is known as phenotype. For an example, suppose if some friend is coming towards you, you can easily identify that this friend, my friend, is fair in color or brown in color or black in color. You can also identify by their hair that there is straight hair or the curly hair. So straight hair, curly hair, all are the trait or the character. So what you can observe, and by observing it you can identify that type of trait is known as the phenotypic trait. So here, my dear student, I am taking the ratio of this phenotypic trait. So here, my dear student, here you can see here one is the tall and the second one is the dwarf. So we have to find the ratio of these two traits, tall as well as dwarf. So how much percent tall here? As you know that capital T, it means it is tall. Capital T, small t. So here capital T is dominant, so it is tall. It is the heterozygous condition. Here capital T, small t means tall, heterozygous, but capital T is dominant. Here both the small t, so it is dwarf. So how much tall character is there, my dear student? 1, 2, 3. So I am writing the 3 tall character, and how much dwarf character? Only 1. So I am writing 3:1 here. Complete. Now, my dear student, second one is the genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio. In the genotypic ratio, you have to see the genetic constituent of an organism. Genetic constitution of an organism is known as genotypic, means which you cannot observe because it is present in the gene. That type of constituent is known as the genotypic. So we are seeing the genotypic constituent of the pea plant here. So here you are observing that capital T both are the homozygous, but this homozygous tall. So first one is the, here I am writing, my dear student, that this one is the homozygous. That is the capital T and capital T. Here I am writing that the capital T both are the homozygous tall. After that, my dear student, one is the one, here you can see, my dear student, one is capital T and the second one is the small t. So heterozygous condition. So here capital T and small t, and the third one, my dear student, that both the gene are small t and small t. So three type of genetic constituent are there. First one is capital T, second one is capital T, small t, third one is the small t and small t. First one is capital T, second one is capital T, small t, and the third one is small t and small t. So capital T, how much? So you are observing that only one capital T and capital T present. So I am writing at here only one present. One. After that, the second ratio, capital T, small t. So here you are observing this is the second, this one is the third. So 2, here you can observe 2 capital T and small t. So here 2. And the third one is small t and small t. So here you are observing that the small t is there. So it is again 1. So the genotypic ratio is 1:2, 2:1. Phenotypic ratio is 3 is to 1, tall is to dwarf is 3 is to 1, and genotypic ratio, my dear student, is 1 is to 2 is to 1. You have to remember all these things. Again, we are doing the quick revision that the monohybrid cross, we are in the monohybrid cross, when one pair of contrasting character is you are taking for doing the experiment, so it is monohybrid. Here you are taking one tall pea plant, one dwarf pea plant. This tall pea plant will contain two gene or the two allele, and this allele or gene they are getting from their parent. So one tall and one dwarf. This is the first generation, parental generation. This one is the parental generation. When we are doing the cross between the parental generation, then the four heterozygous tall will be obtained in the case of the F1 generation. Now, my dear student, when we are doing the self-pollination between the heterozygous tall of the F1 generation, then we are obtaining two things, that is the phenotypic ratio, that is 3 is to 1, and the genotypic ratio, that is 1 is to 2 is to 1. So this all about the monohybrid cross. My dear student, I hope you understand the topic. After that, if any confusion regarding this concern, then you can ask question from me. You can write everything in your group that sir, I'm suffering from this type of problem, I'm not understanding it. Definitely I will help you, my dear student. Okay, and you take care of yourself in this omnicoron period and isolate yourself from your friend and everyone. Be happy, take care, bye bye students.